thinking about the future of this country. I love it, Bob.
Somebody's 2-7 in the XFFL. Looking ahead to the next year's draft class.
Well, it's been fun, guys.
All right, Bob. Take care.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the So Check tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. It is election night here in the United States of America.
Yes, I choose both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. That's very well said.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome,
It means
boys.
a lot.
I'll come back. I'm an undecided voter right now on whether to choose you
got
guys.
my vote.
Hey,
All
but
day.
maybe I can get you back in the show.
Blustery days here in the KY.
Yes. Rain
Yeah.
was supposed to be rolling in. I don't think it ever did. Was it raining on you boys coming in?
Supposed to be tonight.
Okay.
A little sprinkle at the
there's some
house
sprinkling
earlier.
on the car. Yeah.
Some sprinkles?
Some
Sure.
sprinkles.
Some sprinkles.
But yeah, been great weather lately. Played some golf.
Sure.
Lovely. Very nice. Not,
Halloween-
You can't do that a lot of places.
Halloween
it's November.
was tough. It was we were
It
over
was-
in your parents' neighborhood, literally
Yeah.
like white knuckling the umbrella because it was windy and like it came a pretty good rainstorm there for a little bit.
Yeah, it was like perfect for a month. No rain.
It's
on Halloween night.
Unseasonably warm right now.
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Y'all don't know this, but deer season's this weekend, and the low is like 50, and the high
That ain't
that
even
day
deer
is
season, Bo.
70. You know, so
Wow.
weird start to deer season. Kyle B, they probably got snow.
You gonna be out there at 4 a.m.?
Get out there, Bobo.
Nah.
Need you to get us a deer, some antlers for the wall.
Those days have passed.
Hey, we can't ruin the deer's career if its antlers are already up on the
a good
wall,
point.
like we have Shaq Leonard and Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, that deer's Achilles already gone.
Already gone.
Yeah, I was thinking this show may be cursed because also I put Will Anderson to number one. Well, to start, we had Aiden number one. We made a big deal of that, and then we know what happened there. And then bumped him out for Will Anderson. He immediately gets hurt.
So we moved Josh
the
Hines.
jerseys. The jersey thing's definitely cursed.
Yes, it's 100% cursed.
So
Josh
sucks
Hines
'cause-
Allen.
yes.
We've moved to number one.
Josh Hines Allen, congrats. Trayvon Walker now number one.
that's right.
Yeah.
Nick Bolton number one.
Which sucks because these jerseys are not cheap, by the way. So we just
Yeah, if we need someone else to send us another one.
yes, please get on that. Get on
You
that.
guys
folks.
get together.
Get your little
Get your little GoFundMe.
Go fund me for a new jersey. Who can we curse next is the question.
It's a good one.
So let's get into it, though, boys. Week 9 recap. We've got a dozen storylines pulled from Aaron's game-by-game recap, theidpshow.com. About 4,000-plus words if you're looking for the game-by-game breakdown. But we're going to hit about 10 to 12 of the biggest storylines here from the week that was in IDP. And let's start in Cincinnati. We mentioned them earlier with TNF coming up. Big play Trey. We had a 60-point blowout performance courtesy of Trey Hendrickson. Early in the season, we said he was looking set for another 10-plus sack season. He hit his 11th sack this past week with a 4-sack outing and is showing no signs of slowing down. When it's all said and done for 2024, it wouldn't be surprising to see him replicate his 17.5 sacks from 2023. Eddie, we've talked a lot about Trey Hendrickson on this podcast. One of the most prolific edge rushers of the past half-decade. Got it done in a big spot for the Bengals this past week.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He is now number one in points per snap. So, I mean, that's I guess to be expected after a big old 60 burger.
Big old 60 burger.
And he's been awesome this entire year. But yeah, I mean, this is just what we've come to expect out of Trey. And I don't see any reason for it not to continue for the next couple of years. So I feel good about him in Dynasty. Bumped him up, obviously, after this weekend's performance, just because, yeah, you get to thinking, you're like, man, he's going to be a piece that you want for another, 2-3 years until he's probably like 32, 33. Like he'll probably be in the 10 sack range, I would think.
Yeah, as long as he's healthy, Bobo.
Yep.
I mean, the dude is now he's not going to give you the tackles, right? It's a sack dependent type of play, but there are very few edge rushers you can bank on to give you the sack production that Trey Hendrickson has the last 5-6 years.
Does he frustrate you, though?
A little bit sometimes, but
A little frustrating.
that's DL edge. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Finding those DL edge that don't frustrate you are unicorns.
For sure. I'm pulling up. Have y'all looked at his contract in a while with the Bengals? I kind of want to see what that looks like.
There's all that stuff this offseason with like him not being happy.
Yeah.
and-
He requested a trade, right?
Yeah.
Was holding out.
Okay, so there was a potential out before this season, 2024. He actually is under contract through 2025, but a pretty hefty little cap hit. I can't see right now what the what the cap savings would be. You know, you would think that they probably don't move on from a guy like Trey, but, you know, who's to say that that whole contract negotiation thing doesn't start up again this offseason? I don't know.
They could save about $16 million
Okay.
next season. It's a $18.6 million cap hit in 2025 with a $2.6 million dead cap.
And, you know, I mean, you haven't paid Jamar Chase yet. You're probably going to let T. Higgins walk, I would say.
I don't think they would let go of Trey Hendrickson. I really don't.
They're going to move on from Hubbard, do you think?
Could be. I think is there
fine too, though.
I think he'll be there longer than Hendrickson was because he just re-upped, I'm pretty sure.
And he's from Ohio State. Like, he's like,
Local boy.
yeah.
I just don't like Trey Hendrickson because it's just like it's really big peaks and it's really big valleys. And I know we've had the whole Myles Garrett conversation here lately of like, just wait, you know, a 40-point game's coming around the corner. But I feel like these huge games for Trey, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I don't feel like they're that often. You know, Trey will get you some sacks, but when he doesn't, it's just like a zero.
Yeah. I think of the two, though, I think I'd rather have – I mean, Hubbard's been nice this year as well. He is about in the same boat as Hendrickson. He's also a UFA in 2026
Okay.
with about a $9 million cap savings next year.
Wow.
Yeah, looking at the logs with Trey Hendrickson this year, 6.5 week 1, 28.4 week 2, 11.75 week 3, 6 week 4, 5.75 week 5, 26 week 6, 34 week 7, 4 week 8, and then 62.7.
Yeah, so it's either going to be single digit or 20 plus.
Yeah. But I'll take that.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And he is that type where I feel like he's probably not your edge one.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
most cases, just
See
because
where
he
he
has
finished
been slept on for a while, and especially like compared to where he finishes. Like for the dude is finished like I feel like top 15 for like the past 2-3 seasons. So
He's a pretty good deal too, but he fits really nicely like in the XFL in that flex spot. You know, if you're going up against a guy who's a pretty clear you know, front runner to you, you know, projected more points and everything, throw a guy like Trey Hendrickson down in there, you know, worst case scenario, he floats you 5 points. Best case scenario, he gets you 35 points and maybe wins you a week.
well, and it's also kind of obvious. Like I mean, when to start him too. Like if you have to, you know, if you're in like a shallow league and you're having to choose, you know, every week, like this last week, the 62-point game was against Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The 34-point game was against Cleveland.
Yeah.
The 26-point game was against the Giants.
Start him against bad offensive lines and bad quarterbacks who take sacks in bunches. He was edge 14 by our ADP,
Wow.
going at 20.7.
So that's ideal. Mm-hmm. Like that's perfect.
That's great because that's an edge 2 for you, that's what I like. I agree with you, Bobo. I don't necessarily want him as my edge 2, but thankfully he still gets slept on.
And I agree. Like I want him more than I want like Josh Hines Allen. Like even though like he does have the highs and lows, at least his highs are more consistent.
Crazy. Yeah.
You know,
17.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, and
that's nice.
I mean,
he's going to be
that's a sack per
around
game.
there again.
Yep. So
we also, too, I was thinking about this last week. We're getting into the point of the season where teams are banged up. And not only are wide receivers banged up, but I mean, like offensive linemen are banged up and they're getting kind of tired. And this is when the, you know, DTs and the defensive linemen kind of start eating a little bit. So, you know, it's a war of attrition. The season goes on. Not only does it get tougher for the offense, it gets tougher for the defense too. So, yeah, I don't know. Trey, I don't know. I just never cared for Trey. He's fine. He's fine. That's just a personal thing.
we got to give him his flowers after a 60-point game.
Yeah.
Well, here's a guy that has
I could have
been,
probably sacked Minshew, though. 1 sack a game.
That Raiders team is a mess. They fired, I think, 3 coaches this week.
Need to be done.
Head coach will be getting fired pretty soon. Too.
Yeah, I'd say Pierce is going to be gone. Dennis Allen just got fired. I think McCarthy will get fired. I think Steichen will get fired.
Yeah, McCarthy needs to go.
So, yeah, it's about to be some bloodletting within the NFL coaching ranks.
You
So
gotta be so hyped
I'm
up.
so pumped to discuss it on the pod.
He's blushing now.
I know.
It's my favorite time of year, boys. Next up, though, you mentioned Josh Hines Allen. Let's talk about his teammate, Travon Walker. They both had awesome weeks this past week against the Eagles, but they did so in 2 entirely different ways. Hines Allen notched his first multi-sack game of the season for only his third double-digit point performance of 2024. Meanwhile, Travon Walker had 0 sacks, but grabbed a loose fumble and turned into a running back, taking it back for a touchdown. Eddie, this is where you saw that freaky athleticism from Travon Walker on display, rumbling down the field like a running back for that touchdown. You wanted to bring up Travon Walker. Tell me why.
I mean, it seems like the breakout's happening, you know?
I think so, too.
I mean, 14.91 points per game this season, 134 total points. I mean, dude's doing all of it. I mean, that's it. This is what, year 3 for him?
Yep.
And then, I mean, speaking of that play, like, yeah, that's incredible. Like, that just is a dude that, like, just built different, right? I mean, fast.
That's why you go 1 overall.
Yeah, fast, powerful. Like, dude, there was no one that was going to stop that guy. So, yeah, you want pieces like that on your team. And I think Trayvon Walker is just going to keep getting better and better. So we're already seeing him kind of come into his own now. So, yeah, big fan. Got to give him his flowers, too.
Yeah, and Josh Hines Allen. We've kind of crapped on him this season, but
he came through.
He did, and against a team that I wouldn't have necessarily expected him to rack up 3 sacks against. So, yeah, it was good to see him bounce back. But we mentioned a couple weeks ago 2 ships passing in the night in terms of the dynasty rankings. I think if these trends continue into the season, we may be looking at Travon Walker as the more valuable dynasty asset, Bobo.
I think now is the time where you could probably trade Josh Hines Allen for, I don't know, maybe not, Travon Walker plus, you know, kind of disguising it a little bit as like, not necessarily trading Josh Allen for Travon Walker straight, but secretly, you know, in your head you would. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's fun to see, you know, because Travon is the number 1 overall pick, and he was. It's just fun. It's nice to see things go this way, where Travon Walker was a head scratcher at 1, and it was one of those things where it was like he's a project. We like his athleticism, we like his skill, but he's going to take some time. Well, here we are, you know, showing that it's taken a couple of years, but now Travon looks like he could be in that like top 8 to top 12 DL talk probably now.
I think so. I mean, you got to be excited about like what he's going to turn into as well, because he looks the way he does, and he's 23.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, he's going to develop even more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, if Hutchinson's recovery doesn't go well, I mean, he could look like by far the best piece out of that draft. Yep. I mean, and obviously the injury is what caused that, but
yeah, you have him as the edge 15 right now, which feels right. I think like
just bumped him up, I think, while we were talking.
Did you?
So
where is he now?
He's right. I moved him ahead of Josh Allen. He deserves to be ahead of Josh Allen now.
Okay, and Josh Allen was edge 11, so that has him inside the top 10 then, or is he edge 11 for you?
He's edge 11,
okay.
And then we have Rousseau at 12.
There you go. Well, we wondered when that was going to happen, Bobo. It's officially happened. Does that feel right? Do you feel like Josh Allen should be behind Travon in the dynasty ranks?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy.
Trayvon, 23.9 years of age. Josh Allen, 27.3.
Yeah, 4 years of difference there in age.
Maybe, hopefully that's the right Josh Allen. I know I've screwed that up before.
Yes, we did get yelled at. No, I think we said that he was maybe older, but double check that, Addy, just for the folks on YouTube.
We know what we know at this point with Josh Allen. You know, we've seen peak Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen's going to get any better than he you know, currently is.
He's not consistent.
Yeah, Travon Walker could get better. I mean, this could be just the threshold of, you know, Travon Walker does kind of seem like one of those types that could be a 15 sack a year guy, you know? I don't know. I'm probably looping back around to try to buy Travon in some little windows where I could. I know the price is getting probably a little high, but
could you just swap Josh Allen straight up for Travon right now?
It's getting tough.
Do you think the Travon manager would move Travon for Josh Allen?
A couple weeks ago, probably.
Yeah. Well, coming off a 3-sack performance, this might be the time to reach out if you want to make that move.
I don't know about
if you're
this
holding
week.
Josh Hines Allen.
You're going to have to give it a little bit of a down week to maybe circle back. You know, let Travon have a half a sack or a sack week or something.
Couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when we pounce.
then we pounce.
Yeah, especially if like you're rebuilding. Like that's a great move, and you have Hines Allen. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and
Cash out, get the younger asset. Well, let's talk from DL to DBs, boys. Defensive backs scoring on an offensive level. Y'all wanted to bring this up as well. A lot of DBs just kind of under the radar, putting up some big points. In IDP, Amani Hooker, 32-point performance against the Pats. He had 2 crucial INTs, including the game sealer in overtime. Trayvon Merrick, top 10 DB on the season through 9 weeks of play, 13.3 points per game. And that's while just scoring 5.5 points per game the first 3 weeks of the season. Since week 4, Merrick hasn't had a game under 12 points by Big 3 scoring and is averaging 18.46 points per game in the past 4 games while playing 100% of the snaps, thanks to 37 tackles, 4 TFLs, 1 pick, half a sack, 2 PDs. Let's talk about Detroit and Green Bay. These 2 teams squared off this past week, and they had a plethora of DBs that were relevant in this game. Detroit has 2 of the top 5 scoring DBs through 9 weeks. Brian Branch ejected early because of the unnecessary roughness penalty. Had only 2 points, but is still DB3, safety 2 on the season. Kirby Joseph, 6th interception on the season, taking this one to the house. He had 23.7 games in 3 seasons. Joseph has 4 interceptions in 4 games against Green Bay, and they play again in Week 14. Just a little note there. Green Bay, though, also has their fair share of relevant DBs. Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon. Xavier McKinney is DB3 safety, or DB4 safety 3, and Keyshawn Nixon is DB12 CB4. Keep in mind, Big 3 scoring is kick and punt return scoring. It was quite the game for McKinney due to no interception. It was a quiet game. He doesn't have the tackle floor, and he didn't have a pick. But in the games with a pick, he is averaging 17.5 points. In games without, 8.85. Keyshawn Nixon has 243 return yards so far this season. That's 24.3 points, about an additional 2.7 points per game. So that's enough to flip a poor game into an average game into a good game, or a good game into a great game. So a lot of DB goodness. Not necessarily the big names that we were maybe expecting going into the season, but some of them we were.
And that's why you don't, simp for DB, right?
Don't simp for DB.
Because you can find all these guys on the waivers. Like Kirby Joseph has been a damn baller, dude.
Trayvon Merrick, I picked him up.
He's been awesome.
In the XFFL, started him this week.
He's been great. I just looked up his usage too. Excuse me.
Sure.
Getting choked up looking at it.
It was good.
It was real good.
58% in the sweet spot, so that's defensive line, box, and slot. And so, yeah, I mean, the production's been great for him. Like, he's definitely one of the best players on that defense, one of the most consistent players. So, yeah, he's been awesome. Amani Hooker's been crazy lately. I know he's getting there off some interceptions, but, I mean, that just seems to be what he does, He just got – the key for him is just staying healthy.
Quandre Diggs just went out for the year, we should mention.
So, I mean, maybe even more production out there for Hooker potentially. But,
yeah,
I mean, just – loads and loads of examples of just safeties that are balling out seemingly out of nowhere, but that's just the same story every single year.
Some guys we highlighted, though. I mean, Keyshawn Nixon we talked a lot about, especially in kick and punt return leagues. I mean, McKinney, we were like a little lukewarm on just because, but McKinney has been coasting off the back of INTs.
And Nixon also started slow with the kick return yards stuff too. So, I mean, I feel like he's due for a big second half. Witherspoon had himself a really nice game.
That he did. I think you brought that up at the end of last episode when you were like, who's going to bounce back in the second half?
Yeah.
You said, surely it has to get better for Witherspoon.
Yeah.
I think you kind of do just need to bet on some things kind of correcting themselves a
Bet
little
on
bit.
good players. That's what I would say.
Yep.
Sometimes it's, again, variance can be a real cruel mistress and short windows. I mean, you think about some of these other professional sports, baseball's 150-plus games. Basketball's 82 games.
Right.
Football's just 17 games. So it's like the variance within those, that you're going to experience over the course of a season.
Yeah, man, you can be
can
on
really
you can be on a cold treat for like
8
weeks,
and then
that's
totally
just-
turn it around.
and look like a bum, right? So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's Amani Hooker though. I think is got more of an opportunity now with Quandre Diggs potentially.
Same thing, good player. Like
Yes.
that defense loves him. Like he was wearing the green dot at some this preseason.
And Trayvon Merrick was coming on at the end of last season. We
Merrick,
kind of
yes.
wondered how that was going to shake out. I've been looking for the Minkah Fitzpatrick replacement on my team all season. Stinka is finally out of there.
Yeah.
We're rolling with Merrick the rest of the season as long as he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, DBs, Bobo.
Yeah, really good rookie cornerbacks this year too. A lot of the corners are playing pretty well. Some of the safeties are kind of coming around. Your boy Tyke, Kane Kinchin's, like we just said, had a good game last week. Defensive backs. It's especially with the rookies. The rookies are one you just kind of want to give some time to.
Yeah.
You also have
playing time early.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Malik
coming on
Mustafa's
strong.
getting some playing time and playing pretty well.
Can I talk about the future for a second? So
Please.
defensive backs
Sure.
scoring on an offensive level just kind of made me think. Travis Hunter is going to be an interesting person to talk
we're
about
having this
here
conversation today.
in the next little bit, because if Travis Hunter comes into the NFL as a cornerback, he's going to be labeled as a cornerback in XFL, maybe MFL. I don't know how Sleeper is going to handle him, but there's a chance that Travis Hunter, I don't know if he's going to play both sides of the ball, but if he's a cornerback playing as a wide receiver, or potentially even vice versa, a wide receiver that's also getting some cornerback snaps, I would make sure that your league is going to score both of those things, because a freak athlete like that with athleticism on both sides of the ball should get scoring for that. It's kind of like Marcus Jones from last year, who was playing a little bit or 2 years ago, playing a little bit for the Pats, doing also punt and kick return stuff. So just something to pay attention to in your league.
He was the true cheat code because he was special teams, offense, and defense.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't see many players
It was
like
a small little window. I mean, Marcus Jones only did it for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, if your platforms allow for players on offense to get points, like if there's an interception and they make a tackle, they should get points for that.
Because a lot of times, like
same thing with defensive players getting offensive points.
Like the XFL, we won't change. Like a lot of these DBs that come in XFL, they're cornerbacks, but they might be safeties.
Yeah.
Like Brian Branch was a cornerback. I know Kinchin's right now is a cornerback. There's also another one that's really good right now. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a chance that Travis Hunter comes in and is like, he's a cornerback, but he's playing wide receiver. Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I don't
we
know
were
that
debating, is that a top 3 rookie pick if you've got a guy drafted highly playing both ways?
You think they're going to let him do both?
I think he needs to come in the league as a cornerback, because I think that will affect
Agreed.
his draft capital. I think that will draft him higher than it would if he came in as a wide receiver.
But do you think he
now whatever a team
carves that role
does,
on offense?
I don't know. I think a team, probably.
I think it's going to be hard to play both ways in the
like
pros.
but using like in third downs and stuff like
Correct.
that. Like
have a
Correct.
package of plays
Yes.
maybe.
I
like
don't-
30% of the snaps or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or like clear passing situations.
Little Taysom Hill type
Into the
situation.
game, like he's
Yes.
probably in
Yes.
there doing both.
Yeah, you've got a pivotal down.
That's pretty nice.
Put Travis Hunter in the slot, and then he's going to be playing corner on the
That'd
other
be
side.
sick. That would be so sick.
That would be pretty nasty.
But I would I would need like confirmation before I spent like a
You'd be like,
top
did I
5
just
pick on
really
the dude.
draft a corner at 101?
Yeah, seriously.
That could come back
And
to
is
bite
he going to
you.
be like a shutdown corner, like where he's not going to even get?
Yeah, I think
gonna
that's
get
really
points.
that's more of what he profiles as.
Yeah. So
Be a
that
big
would
question
be
mark. Be a fun conversation.
Just something. Just put a pin in it.
come next offseason.
Yep.
You're talking about the future. I like it.
Yep.
You also wanted to talk about the big boys getting big points, Bobo.
Yeah.
D tackles eaten this past weekend. Jeffrey Simmons. The Tennessee defensive line was feasting on Drake May. 28 pressures, 4 sacks. Big days for Arden Keys, Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry. For Simmons, it's his first back-to-back sack performances since weeks 1 and 2 of last season. So hopefully he can build on that. Monday Night Football was a big boy feast up front for the Buccaneers. Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey had 2 sacks apiece. They harassed Mahomes at every opportunity. It was also a showcase for GM Les Snead's 2023 and 2024 rookie classes. 5 of the top 6 scores came from either his 23 or 24 draft, with Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, and Braden Fisk all collecting a sack on their way to 20-plus point games apiece. They truly are making up Aaron Donald in the aggregate Moneyball style. Let's keep it rolling, though. Sam Darnold sacked 4 times by the Colts. Grover Stewart was 2 of those as he posted a 26-point game. He has never had more than 4 sacks in a single season, so he got half of that against your Vikes, Addy.
It didn't matter, though.
Didn't matter. Thank you, Joe Flacco. And then Big Q, Quinnen Williams, finally put together back-to-back sack games for the first time this season.
Yeah.
He has averaged 22.95 points per game the past 2 weeks and put up 3 sacks on 13 pressures. Bobo, the big boys are eating. How does that make you feel?
I love it because they've been pretty quiet. We've had a little bit of a weird start to the year here for these defensive tackles. Deron Payne hasn't done much. Quinnen Williams has been quiet. Jeffrey Simmons has been quiet to some extent. But, yeah, we finally got a little bit of confirmation here in Week 9. We finally got some points here on the board. Big Cube looked back to his old self. Grover Stewart looks like a really, really good player.
He's a dude. He's always been good.
We know about the Rams. We don't have to beat that, drum anymore. Kalijah Kancey, guys. Kalijah Kancey is a great, great player. I don't know how high Adam. I don't know how high I could convince him to raise Kancey in the ranks, but I think Kancey is a top 5 consideration at this point. And
he's
then,
IDL 6 right now for Addy.
And then it's always lovely to see Jeffrey Simmons, get in with some sacks, because Jeffrey Simmons, I think, from an athletic and game disrupting perspective, maybe is one of the best defensive tackles in the game. I'm not saying the best defensive tackle for IDP.
Yes.
But as far as NFL football, Jeffrey Simmons is hard to watch and say, damn, that guy.
If they ever
is
made
good.
Simmons available, GMs would be tripping over themselves to send the Titans probably close to a first-round pick.
He kind of reminds me of like a younger, like Chris Jones.
Yeah.
He's definitely got some games where he disappears, but he also has some games where it's like, well, this is
You
the
can't
Jeffrey
block
Simmons
him.
game.
You cannot stop him.
Yeah.
First off the bus.
Yep. Absolutely.
He's awesome.
Very intimidating.
Just like you.
That's right.
Yep.
First off the bus.
Historically,
For different
Adam
reasons.
was one of our first off the bus.
So let's move to
Need to
Detroit
pee.
and Arizona. Yeah, that's me. I'm off the bus first, sprinting to the bathrooms.
Let's top 5 for Kalijah Kancey.
Yeah.
Too high.
He's right there on the borderline. He's got
on
him
it,
at
and
6.
And I'd probably have him like all those. I'm splitting hairs with all those guys. It's right now it's Jalen Carter, which he's he can be kind of underwhelming sometimes.
But so have the Eagles. They're kind of getting right. We'll see.
Dexter Lawrence, Byron Murphy the second, still holding out hope for him.
Yep.
That we see a little more from him. And he is he's 22. So I mean we got to be patient with some of these fellas. Then Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, then Kalijah Kancey. So we're in the ballpark.
Could Fisk get up there at all?
Yeah, I think so too.
I think you could
he's-
probably maybe move Byron down to Kancey's spot and move Simmons and Big Q up maybe one spot. That would probably be mine. But all those dudes are right there clumped together.
I've got Fisk 14, but he's going to
Okay.
be rising too.
For sure. Yeah.
Some of these guys are getting hot.
Yeah.
Getting hot.
So we're going to have to do a lot of reassessing here.
A lot of reassessing.
Also, I'm going to have the complete data through for weeks 1 through 9. Then I'll be digging through this next couple of
digging
weeks.
through, folks. Get in there.
There was a lot to the Rams going to get Verse and Fisk. Just McVay and Snead seeing the way that those two guys played together at Florida State and not wanting to break that up. Like, man, these guys kind of have a little fun relationship. And I think that that's something that in IDP you don't think about as much. The correlation between playing with a guy on one side of the defensive line regularly. You're running stunts. You're blocking his guy so somebody can come on a delayed blitz. There's a lot more intricate things involved than we really talk about.
You
in
already
IDP.
know how to communicate.
Absolutely.
You think
man.
about it a lot with quarterback and wide
It's
receiver.
timing.
But defensively, that can work as well if
Yeah.
you've got 2 defensive line mates that are used to playing together.
Mm-hmm.
So more teams, I bet you, will start doing that, seeing how
sure.
well it's worked out for the Rams.
Yeah.
They got kind of
So-
lucky too, though.
Oh,
Both those
yeah.
guys falling to him.
Oh, yeah.
First shouldn't have been around there.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
they traded up to go get Braden Fisk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they made their move. I think they saw this
Yeah.
guy's not going to last. Like, let's go up and get him. We were debating or trying to remember. I think they gave up a third
next year.
to move up and get him. So, good on them for trying to pair those two guys together. It's worked out well so far. We'll see what if the trades work out that we saw today. It was kind of a quiet trade deadline. We did see some moves, including Detroit and Arizona getting in on the action. Zadarius Smith traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Detroit Lions. We've been begging the Lions to get help along that defensive line. Basically, with Aiden Hutchinson on the shelf, it's now Aleem McNeil, who just got a contract extension. So congratulations to McNeil on that. McNeil had 7 pressures on Sunday afternoon, taking him up to 27 on the season and giving him his 3rd game of 6 or more pressures on the year. But yes, the Lions added Zadarius Smith. It was a couple of late picks that they got him for, so basically nothing. And then the Cardinals, who got to Caleb Williams 6 times and pressured him 36 times on Sunday, and are the division-leading NFC West Arizona Cardinals, also decided to bolster their pass rush, adding Baron Browning via trade from the Denver Broncos. Winners and losers fall out from these trades, Eddie.
I mean, Baron Browning, I like that move. He's, I think he has a more clear role there in Arizona than he did in Denver. Denver was pretty crowded. You know, they're young and kind of loaded. I mean, you got Benito, you got Jonathan Cooper, who just got an extension as well. Congrats to him. The 11th Ellis Bro, and then Franklin Myers.
John Franklin Myers. You got Zach Allen doing his thing in the middle as well.
So I mean, they could get rid of him. Also, he's going to be a UFA. So he's
incentivized to ball out. Yeah, and get something for him.
Yeah, get something while you can. But yeah, I mean, it's a great spot for Browning. Like, Arizona desperately needs somebody like that right now. Like, they just lost Dennis Gardeck. They lost Ojulari to start the year.
Zayvon Collins and not much else.
And that's it, pretty much. Darius Robinson, and we'll see what he's going to be. He's still, I think, working his way back from injury.
Forgot about him.
But, yeah, I mean, I like that move a lot. So I think that's a win-win for really everyone, because Browning's going to get a nice role there, and then those young guys get more snaps too. Like Benito he's been getting around 50%, but we could see him get even more snaps, which would be nice.
So.
Ellis could get a nice little bump. Yep. He's been playing well for a rookie, so you like to see that. And then Zadarius Smith, that's awesome. Zadarius Smith is still really, really good.
He's played very well recently.
Yeah. Referencing that tweet from earlier, since week 5, he's averaging 4.6 pressures per game. So that's a top 10 rate right now. So the dude still got it. So yeah, I think he's going to be solid, once he gets acclimated there.
Should come in, and especially down the stretch, I would say be this team's leading edge rusher.
Yeah. And
at least in terms of snaps.
And then in Cleveland, our boy, Ogbania
Okoronkwo.
Yeah, him.
That guy.
He could get some more snaps. I mean, he's fine. He could be a nice little streaming option for you. I mean, it's never a bad gig to be opposite of Myles Garrett. So he's been productive for us before. So he's still young. He could have a moment here to finish the season. Also, it would have been nice to see Alex Wright get an opportunity with the Darius leaving, but he got hurt. So
yeah, that's right.
That's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Good job by me. I was just saying, in my recollection, that is correct that he got hurt. Works out beautifully, though. So, yeah, those were really the big trades. Preston Smith going to the Steelers. What do we think about that one?
It's okay. It's a little bump.
Buried on the depth chart,
I don't like it at all, really.
I think it's a big arrow down for Preston Smith. Big arrow up for Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was going
Yeah, and Rashawn Gary could maybe get a few more snaps now, right? I think he's been at 60 to 65 range.
Lucas Van Ness better do it, though. We're kind of getting into that crunch time. We're kind of getting into that Phoenix and Adiko Zama zone to where it's man, if we don't do something soon, they're going to bring
but Van Ness
some help in.
He's had some moments, though, right? Didn't he have a 3-sack game or something?
I think he did.
Once.
Okay.
So it's we've at least seen stuff like that, and he still gets a pretty healthy share.
Okay.
And he was actually the second leading snap getter behind Rashawn Gary this past week.
Nice.
So Preston Smith was down at 36.8. Van Ness
played.
was at 42.1.
Okay, so it wasn't Smith was a healthy scratch.
Smith was not that good for us this year.
We saw Kyle B say in Slack, a Packers fan, that Preston Smith just did not adapt well to the new defensive coordinator's scheme.
And there you go. Yeah,
so
that could be it.
That ends up happening. Lucas Van Ness should, I think, get more snaps now.
And then Quay Walker had a pretty good week. Had some pretty good little tackle game, I'm pretty sure. And then Edgerrin Cooper continues to be, lighting up the highlights.
He had 12 tackles.
Yeah.
Quay Walker did on 100% of snaps.
Yeah.
Edgerrin Cooper, 66.7% of snaps. Eric Wilson, 73.7.
Wow.
So they love Eric. They love
McDuffie get.
He was 33.3% of snaps, 4 tackles.
Wow.
So how are they getting all these guys snaps?
I don't know. Are they running 4 linebackers out there 30% of the time? What the hell's going on here? So speaking of linebackers, though, Philadelphia the city of linebacker studs? ?
Yeah.
Zach Bond had a couple quiet weeks in weeks 4, 6, and 7. Just 7.67 points per game.
like
in that
everyone
span.
else does.
That's right. It happens.
Calm down.
But he has been back to his early season form these past 2 weeks with a 17-point performance and then a 28-point performance on Sunday afternoon to solidify the point of how well he's been playing. Weeks 8 and 9 are also the 2 highest graded weeks per PFF of his entire career at 92.6 overall grade. This week, 91.3 overall grade. Last week, we know Zach Bond has been good this year, but Nakobe Dean, boys, been electric these past 2 weeks to a lesser extent, but also has back-to-back games with 90-plus PFF overall grade. He's also sitting at LB7 on the season, just ahead of Bond, who's at LB8. So you've got 2 top 10 linebackers by Big Three scoring there in Philadelphia. We wondered how Devin White would factor into this equation, Bobo. Turns out it was Nakobe Dean the whole time alongside Zach Bond.
Yeah. Are y'all buying it?
Yeah.
I think so.
I've been buying it,
You
man.
in,
think
you
so.
in on Dean?
No.
That's
not
what I'm-
Dean.
that's
Not
what I'm
Dean.
talking about.
Not
Okay.
Dean. I'm in on Bond.
Okay.
I'm buying a little bit of Dean stock. I'm not jumping in with both feet, but the dude is playing better.
I just worry the Dean stock is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Everyone was always hyped about Dean. He sucked for 2 years, and people were still pretty hyped about Dean.
I'm not saying I'm going to acquire Nakobe Dean based off of 2 games, but I'm allowing myself to be a little more optimistic
Getting
about it.
excited.
If he continues to do this for the rest of the season, you'll draft some Nakobe Dean next year.
And regret it.
Yeah.
And regret it.
Because it'll be LB 15,
Yes.
in that range probably.
Yeah, I think this is confirming a lot of people's priors, and so the stock price, which was already high, is just continuing to creep higher.
you, I knew it.
Yeah.
You just need to get healthy.
Yeah, his
Is he
value.
special?
His value. I'm afraid, as an actual IDP asset, is never going to match his market value. There's
Yeah.
always going to be a gap there.
I don't know. To me, I to kind of correct what I said, Zach Bond, I'm all in on. I mean, you're getting just amazing production this year for something that was free.
And for the record, we did say buy him after week 1.
Yeah.
Called him a league winner.
Yeah. I
And
think
it
we
is-
talked in the
appears that
offseason
way.
about like, hey, there's some chatter,
Oh,
I
I think the only person talking about Zach Bond.
I remember
We were a
it.
little weirded out that
We were
Zach
like,
Bond,
Adam, we
the
get
ghost
it.
of Zach Bond, was getting, according to the defensive coordinator there, Vic Fangio, was going to be their LB1. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, Vic, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
It happened with AVG though.
Yep.
Yeah.
The off season before, it was there.
But with Nakobe Dean, we're in a little sell window.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody who believes,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
let him rip, baby.
I just
Let him
worry
rip.
about the health with Dean. This could be who he is. He might just be really good, but also worry if he gets hurt, then it'll arrow way down.
So we throw some of these tweets where he's got a 90 PFF grade into our Slack, into our chat, into our whatever.
We
just
post that
kind of
clip of the interception, which was sick, to his credit.
we just kind of sprinkle that in, and then when you've got a little Georgia boy biting, dude, what could you get for Nakobe Dean right now? Could you get?
You can get a second, I think. Somebody was excited.
Yeah, I mean, not for me, but probably. Yeah,
Think you could get a second?
people are hype about him.
Okay.
People like him.
What about a player? Could you get a?
Remember, he went in the first round in our RSO.
Shouldn't have, but did.
Could you get
still.
Jack Campbell for Nakobe Dean?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
And I think I'd want Campbell. I'd do that.
Would you do like Peyton Wilson plus for Nakobe Dean?
Yeah.
I think so.
You think you could get that done?
Yeah, I
Peyton
think
Wilson
so.
plus, can I get plus?
Let me get a third.
Oh, yeah. Give me that.
I'm for that, right?
Give me that. Yeah, I was gonna say if it's a Peyton plus a fourth, probably still doing that.
Oh yeah.
If I'm selling Dean,
I'd
Yeah.
like to get a couple fourths just to get a
I'm
little
not
greedy.
This is
get a little greedy boy.
yeah. This is one of those situations where it's like I'm not telling them, but I'm probably doing Dean for Peyton Wilson straight up, and anything I get on top of that is just
gravy.
yeah.
I think
Throw in Pacheco while you're
Peyton
at it
Wilson's going to be a baller.
for
at
my
some
trouble.
He is.
Yeah, I like Peyton Wilson.
So yeah, the Philadelphia linebackers looking very good. Let's hop in the DeLorean, boys. Go back to 2019. We had boom games from Jeremy Chinn and Dante Fowler. Have we transported 5 years back into the past? What's going on here? Dante Fowler, 6.5 sacks on the season, 6 of those in the past 5 weeks, and he has put up 29.5 points or more in 3 of his last 4 games, all while not having played in more than 55% of the snaps in any of those games. And then Jeremy Chinn, everywhere against the Giants, 12 total tackles. That's an 18.5% tackle rate while playing 79% of his 100% snap share in the sweet spot that game. This isn't the first game that Jeremy Chinn has popped this season, but it's just his 4th game over 5 points in 2024. So Dante Fowler, Jeremy Chinn, I mean,
Sure.
this Washington Commanders team is looking pretty good. Just traded for Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah. Jeremy Chinn is like a safety too, but
Yes.
he has those weeks in him, right? He gets great usage. He can have these weeks where he gets 10 plus tackles. So yeah, I think he's useful. I don't think he's someone that should be on the waiver wire or anything like that.
Oh no. If you start 2 safeties in your league, he should be rostered.
Yeah, I mean, in the situation I'm in, he'd probably be a starter.
What was his ADP in the best balls?
It was
Josh?
high. It was high because he was dual desi there for a
Yeah,
while.
probably still top 10.
Dante Fowler's cool too because he's got that dual desi, and then even in XFL he's a linebacker. So like I was saying about Trey Hendrickson putting him down there in the flex, like if you're going up against a guy here late in the season that like in 2 weeks I've got to play a guy in the XFL, I think it's Lauren. Lauren's pretty clearly a favorite over top of me, and I don't know, I will be throwing in like Khalil Mack, TJ Watt in my D end, and I'm gonna throw a little Grenard down there in the bottom.
Don't you do it?
I'm gonna do it.
No, I mean, I think Fowler's good. I mean, we
Yeah,
talked about
I
Fowler
agree.
last year, like pressure rate was, and that's also you dummies. That's why like that stuff matters because that is a sign of production to come. Like, and Dante Fowler has killed it when it comes to pressures.
And Montez Sweat, I think, was out this past week. Or no, Montez Sweat plays for the Bears. I'm on the wrong team. Was somebody out this past week? The Commanders.
Dorrance Armstrong was back. Someone was probably out.
Maybe what I'm thinking of is the Commanders just don't have a lot of edge rushing help, period.
But you're right. I don't think Montez Sweat played this week.
He was
Obviously, for the
out.
Bears,
I had
he
him-
was out,
Yeah, he was out. Let's see what the snap share broke down to. I'm curious now for the Mandos. Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong and then Dante Fowler. And then behind that, it's Clelin Ferrell and F.A. Obata. So even though Fowler is not getting like 70+% of snaps, he's getting
And he's probably going to get more.
Edge 2 snaps.
When you put up 6 sacks in your last 3 or last 4, like, yeah, he's probably due for some more snaps.
Also, while we're on the Commanders, Mike Sainristil is playing some pretty good football. I think that dude is just going to continue to get better.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind this team is doing well right
Yeah.
now, and like they're going to be trying to push for the playoffs. So, I mean, what's working for them is guys like Dante Fowler.
Yep.
And I mean, I would,
Think of that defense,
that
right?
defense sucks. I mean, especially the edge rotation. Like,
Yes.
I mean, it's
It's a bunch of cast-offs and spare parts. It's 2 guys plucked from Dallas starting as your edge rushers. It's 2 linebackers they brought in, right? It's Mikey Sainristil still. It's Jeremy Chinn. Like, it's for the most part. Now you got Johnny Newton rotating in because you lost Jonathan Allen, right? So this defense is essentially like
Hodgepodge.
it's completely made over from last year.
yeah.
So
But it's just also a lot of weird pieces.
it's
you know?
also Dan Quinn,
Yeah.
who made magic with that Dallas Cowboys defense. And we see, how that's fallen off a little
We
bit.
see that happen a lot. We've seen it with Flores too. So I mean, it's something you got to keep in mind. It's like even though some of these guys don't seem like much, or they've been quiet for the last 3-4 years, they land in the right situation with the right coach.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter like how good they've been. Like they just probably weren't being deployed the way they should have
Yep.
been.
Agreed.
And if a coach gets a head coaching gig and brings these guys over from his old team, something to pay attention to as well. So let's go to your Vikes, though, Addy. I'm excited about this. Excited and a little, as the AVG manager in our main league, I'm like, I want to get your take on this. AVG saw his snap share drop to below 83% for the first time since week 3, with him playing just 72% on Sunday night. This coincided with Dallas Turner playing his highest snap share since week 1, 48% of snaps. Neither Turner nor Van Ginkel impacted the game significantly, 3.5 and 4 points apiece. But this bears watching as AVG has been an IDP revelation this season. Turner was a highly drafted rookie who the Vikings traded up to draft. Was this just a blip, or is Dallas Turner maybe going to be getting phased in a little more here?
We're going to see more Dallas Turner, but I don't think it's going to be really at the expense of AVG. It'll be like Pat Jones that gets squeezed. But
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
was Pat Jones down to? Let's take a look at Pat.
I'm trying to look him up.
But that's I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, you need to keep starting AVG. He's going to have these.
You're right. It was at the expense of Pat Jones, 33.3%. Dallas Turner, 48.1.
Yeah, and if you listen to last week's episode, I said Flores was getting cute, and he needed to get out of here with the Pat Jones stuff. So I feel like we're going to see more Dallas Turner. Also, like, the defense has not been good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not been good lately. Looked good this past week. But again, we did some things different.
Secondary's a little weak,
Oh, it's not good at all.
you know?
Yeah,
And
Dallas Turner,
we had
40
a brutal offseason when it comes to
Yeah. Yeah, y'all
Cornerbacks.
lost
40% pressure rate for Dallas Turner in that game.
nice.
let's go. He's gonna be fine. Like, don't do anything dumb. Do
He'll
not
happen.
trade him.
He'll happen.
Do not trade him.
Yep. He's
Chill
coming.
out. 21.5.
Josh gonna be so pissed when freaking Turner's better than Latu.
That's entirely possible.
mean,
Might be probable.
Entirely possible.
I think it's he was always one for me, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the cornerback y'all lost preseason? Didn't you get a big injury?
Yes. Well, we had our rookie pass
That's
away.
it. That's it.
Corey
That's
Jackson.
It. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
insane.
Car accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forgot
Insane.
about that.
And then we lost Evans to a torn
Yep,
ACL.
yep.
Is that a Caleb Evans? Or?
Yes. He was gonna be a starter for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Byron Murphy's he's great. He's awesome. Underrated playmaker.
Yeah, that boy, he's got
good.
a nose for the ball.
Yeah, those edge rushers have helped cover up a multitude of sins.
And Flores, right? I mean,
Yes.
he just does so many.
He had Flacco in the torture chamber.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. It was Jover very early.
That's
in
a
that
tough
game.
matchup. It's a tough matchup to be thrown into for
Yeah.
Joe. I mean, a guy that is not mobile at all, and then you got to deal with Flores. Just
Just lighting your ass
Lighting
on
you up,
fire
dude.
every single series. It was rough. But speaking of the rookie edge rushers, Chop is on the board, boys. Chop Robinson, first sack of his career against Josh Allen on Sunday. He has found himself playing more since Jalen Phillips was placed on IR with the ACL injury. He was seen as the fourth guy behind Turner, Verse, and Latu. He had a quiet start to the season. This was just his first game over 5 points. Here's the hoping it's a building block for him to work from. So, Chop Robinson on the board. Should Brisket on the board, perhaps?
Sure.
Made me immediately go to that in my
That
mind.
sounds great. They are open all the time, boys. We can go there after this episode if
24
we want to.
hours.
I'm
You want to
ready.
go? Let's go.
Let's do it.
I got nothing else going on. 50% of snaps for Chop Robinson. That was second on the team behind Emmanuel Ogbah. So
Fantastic stuff.
I think it should only be ticking up, right? I mean, what
Yeah.
Miami's not great. What else do they really have going for him right now?
Chop, is he younger than Dallas? He might be. Either way, he is also young as hell. He's 21-ish for sure.
Yeah, let's see. You've got the ages in here, Eddie, so you make it very easy for us. Let's see. Chop
do.
is 21.8.
Yeah. So, yes, this is great. Just we love the fact that he got opportunity this year. It did come at the expense of Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb and
Everything else.
yeah.
Everyone else.
But
a rough
this is
scene.
good. This is great. I mean, you want like raw players to get the opportunity to like work through stuff like that early on, and I think that'll be good for his career. So I like Chop. It's a fun edge class. I think we had a good one.
Yes, it is. Baba, I'll tee you up on this one. Was Roquan Smith worth a first rounder in IDP best balls? Here's some interesting info, right? Looking at the PFF grades, they have dropped considerably for Mr. Roquan Smith thus far this season. His overall grade down to a 58.5. It was 77.9 last year and 72.1 in 2022, mainly due to his coverage grade. 47.8 in coverage, down from 83.2 in 2023. Right now, averaging 12.47 points per game. He is the LB19, just one spot ahead of Trenton Simpson. So, Bobo, I will ask you, Roquan Smith, worth a first-round pick in IDP best balls?
Yeah, he is. Give it time. It's still early, We've been passing. It's warm outside, Average temperature most of these games. All these guys are still cramping and everything. We're about to get into some cold football. We're about to get into some running situations. The weather's going to get a little bit windy. The weather's going to get a little bit wet. All of a sudden, your linebackers' points per games are going to start peaking a little bit. I don't know. Roquan's great. Roquan's great. I'm never going to tell anybody that they overdrafted a guy like Roquan Smith. Is Trenton Simpson playing good? Absolutely. It's looking really good for one of my flag plants, to be honest with you. But no, Roquan Smith is he is who we thought he is. You like that?
That was nice, Bobo. And
Yeah.
you have to be excited about the fact that even though it has been an up and down ride for Trenton Simpson, the dude is coming on here the last couple weeks. He did get the benefit of not getting the starter treatment and continuing to play the rest of the game when the starters were rested.
Yeah.
I think Roquan had like 75% of snaps, but Trenton Simpson got himself 70 total snaps in this game and had 9 tackles and a sack, 28.55 points. But the last 5 weeks for Trenton Simpson, 17 and a quarter, 4.5, 11.5, 11, and 28.55. So he's heating up. And then total snaps, 51, 69, 70 the last 3 weeks for Trenton Simpson. So, Addy, be patient on Roquan Smith. I think he's earned that.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, what linebacker picks do you feel great about that you took early?
Correct.
Outside of Fred.
Yeah, not a lot.
Foye hasn't worked out and he got hurt, but I mean, the snap stuff was weird and wonky to start. And TJ Edwards, I was looking at him. He's not been very good. Nick Bolton, he's averaging like 12 a game, He just put it like 3 this past week in front of everybody on national TV. What a freaking loser.
Big Bob Spillane, Levante David. I'm just looking at the
right, and those
breakdown.
guys are all LB
Late.
10 and after,
Late.
Joshy, can I give you another name? The Chop Robinson kind of sent a little brainwave.
Oh,
off.
brainwave. Okay.
I was watching a little Ohio State Penn State game this weekend. Chop got me thinking about this. There's a guy named Abdul Carter who should probably come out this year. Defensive end out of Penn State. His freshman year, 6.5 sacks. Sophomore year, 4.5 sacks. Junior year, 6 sacks so far. So Abdul Carter, a guy that was really, really disruptive in that OSU game. I'm sorry to interrupt you during your Week 9 recap and giving you a guy's name for the rookies.
Somebody's peeking ahead.
I wanted
Somebody's in a
Guy's
Debbie
got
league.
future on the mind.
That's right.
Thinking about the future of this country. I love it, Bob.
Somebody's 2-7 in the XFFL. Looking ahead to the next year's draft class.
Well, it's been fun, guys.
All right, Bob. Take care.
It's been a tough year for the boy.
Yeah,
But no, man,
Gotta
I'll
give you something to get excited
Abdul
about.
Carter, dude, he's fun.
Abdul.
Hey,
Pay attention to him.
Put a pin in it.
guys, but listen, Bob's got a lot of picks. Telling you, IDP
5
show,
first-round picks.
IDP show is going to be locked in.
True.
2025 offseason. I'm telling you. Well, although we crushed this past year,
We
Did
are
well.
going to be
Did very
more
well.
locked in.
Even more locked in.
We're going to be locked.
Somehow.
We were locked in. We're going to be locked in even more. It's
Yep.
Inception. We are locking ourselves further in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. Don't miss it. A couple more
good.
points here,
Can't wait
boys.
to lock in even harder.
Lock in even harder. DeMarvion Overshown. It's too late
Great.
for this shit. I cannot do these headlines right now. Back-to-back solid showings from DeMarvion Overshown since week 4. Overshown has played at least 86% of the snaps, averaging 97. In the past 4 games, he has 53 tackles on the season to go with 2 sacks and a forced fumble, giving him a solid 12.75 points per game. LB 21 in what could be classified as his redshirt sophomore season in the NFL. This is fun. I love seeing DeMarvion Overshown, a guy that we were excited about. I think he popped the ACL in training camp last year, right? So just now getting his feet under him and could be the future of the linebacking position there in Dallas.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's Eric Hendricks, who's like 33.
Yep.
And just a 1-year deal, I believe, for him,
I think
too.
so, yeah.
And you just love the way that he produces, right? I mean, the dude's got, like, big playability. Tackles are there every single week.
2 sacks and a forced fumble.
Yeah, just a fun player. And
Great name.
was their 3rd-round pick. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're invested in this dude. And I mean, just you love to see him come back and bounce back from the injury, get the snaps that he's getting. So, I mean, yeah, Will's all the way up. Good stuff for DeMarvion.
Yeah, beat out Damone Clark, right? Because I think there was some debate. Is it going to be Damone Clark? Is it going to be DeMarvion Overshown?
Could it be Marquise Bell?
Could it be? Eric Hendricks, though, yes, he is a UFA in 2025. So it probably will be Overshown there as the LB1 moving forward. So,
Yeah.
Good stuff. I know Bobby acquired him recently.
Yeah.
You're a fan?
That was a
Got him
just
for
kind
nothing?
of a, let's just see.
Little
Yeah.
throw in.
Yeah.
That's like the way you
what we
do it.
want.
You get those guys like that.
You watch enough ball, and Overshown just kind of pops a little bit. You make a play, from time to time, and you're just like, I don't know that he's going to lead that defense. The only thing that I hate about Overshown is it does look like that team is going to get turned upside down this offseason. So we're going to be in like a Deion Henley type situation where, they're bringing everybody new in. So it's like, we're about to do this again. So honestly, Overshown might be a nice little sell right now.
He's super athletic. I love his sideline to sideline speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could cash out, like if someone's already excited, like, got hard eyes for him already, projecting, see how young he is, third round pick, he's all the way back.
Yeah.
I'll give you a second for him.
Oh, yeah, cash the hell out, baby.
But if someone gives you a third, are you still cashing out? Or are you going to hold?
I think I might hold.
I'd have to have something else with a third, but I'd consider it. If you could give me like a third and a fourth maybe,
I think I'd cash out.
I'd think about it.
Yeah.
I'd think about it. But I'd be
I just
inclined,
don't know that anybody's going to give you a second for Overshown right now.
Never know. Cowboys fan. We got a Cowboys fan in our league. He'd
That's
probably
who I
give you
got
a
him
second
from.
for Overshown.
I don't know why I was selling him, but hey.
You'll trade him back.
He was in a selling
first.
mood. Yeah, exactly.
Aaron.
Do a little markup, sprinkle a little
That
pixie
26.
dust, turn him into
I
a.
think he's for real, Aaron. I'm going to need your first.
I'm going to need your first. Give me your first. Last headline here, boys. Carl, not so grand lately, son.
That's terrible.
I should have done this one earlier in the rundown. It's
yep.
hard
All
to
right,
sell that
We're going
one.
to have a conversation with him.
Yeah. Carl Granderson historically has been considered a must start, especially in 2023. And the way he started this year, however, the half sack he collected in week 9 was his first sack since week 3. He has 7 straight performances under 7 points. Start 2 DL leagues. Are we still rolling out Granderson every week as a no-brainer?
No.
Top 24 guy?
No, and he kind of snuck into, that type of love when he really shouldn't have, right? He didn't do it long enough for us. We kind of put him on a pedestal too quick, I think. Started out hot. I think we were excited like after week 1.
Yeah, I think that we were all excited about the Saints, who have now lost 7 straight and fired their coach.
And that has a lot to do with it too, I think, right? Like that team is just in a bad spot. So I mean, he's also probably going against, he's in these game scripts where these teams are probably running the ball a lot more on him. Like they don't have to pass on the Saints.
Yeah,
so.
79% of snaps, 8% pressure rate, 0% win rate for Granderson this past week.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
Chase Young sucks too there.
Yeah, I saw him getting bandied about as like a trade candidate. I'm like, who the hell wants Chase Young?
Yeah.
Who's going to trade anything for Chase Young?
Yeah. People still keeping that hope alive out there.
It's like the.
But you look at that guy and it's like Chase Young, like he's too doughy, Like that's a dude that should like he should have taken more care of himself.
He should be shredded.
He should be shredded up. Like he was gifted.
He should be looking like a Myles Garrett.
Yeah, you're like a top 5 overall pick.
I think in my mind I just made the comparison. Is he the rich man's Marcus Davenport? Like both of these guys were holding the candle for, and Marcus Davenport we always made fun of for being carb face.
Yeah, same thing. Like Chase Young looks good, like PFF wise.
Yeah.
Pressure rate's always good. Everyone's
This
like,
is the year. This is the year. This
Yeah.
is the year, and it never is.
Yeah,
I don't know that it ever will be, Bobo.
I don't think so.
No, I think the ship's kind of sailed there. Speaking of the trade deadline, I thought Azeez Ojulari maybe would go somewhere today.
There was some hype about that.
I was kind of hoping.
I did see a tweet like around 1 p.m., so like a couple hours left until the trade deadline. I was like, barring something significant, I think the Giants would have moved him if they had gotten a better offer. I think they were open to
The
it.
little rumor I saw was to the Cardinals,
I saw that too.
like, to team up with his bro.
Ah,
That'd be
there you
so
go.
sweet.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have liked that.
Oh, I would have. Can you
Opportunity, he would
imagine?
have played a ton.
Yes. Oh my God, he'd be 80+
Yeah.
% of snaps right out the gate.
Yeah, I take it back. That'd have been fun.
He's back in.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can happen, but
because Kayvon's coming back, right? And what's going to happen to Azeez? Is he going back to 30% snap share
yeah,
as
probably.
the edge 3 there?
or maybe I don't know.
Maybe they put Kayvon on the bench.
Good.
It's going to be hard to get
Trash.
those 17 sacks.
Hey, 17 on a career. We're still here for
17
it.
on a career.
We're
that
still
was the
here for
flag
it.
plant.
Yeah.
There we go.
You
Well,
guys still
take
okay
back.
with Kayvon a little bit? Like we cooling?
I think
He's gonna have a big year.
he'll
right?
be fine.
One of these years.
One of these
fine.
years.
Yeah.
Are we holding the candle?
Could be the next Chase Young.
Are we holding the candle for Kayvon a little too much?
Nah, I like
Still
Kayvon.
very young. I think we can
Give it time.
give it some more time.
Honestly,
Yeah,
he's
he's
probably
23.
like 23.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go, folks. Week 9 recap. A little election talk thrown in there. Some future talk as well, Bobo. Bobo's clearly in a mindset thinking about the future.
I've been watching college ball this year. I don't know. There's been some good college games on. I like
Hey,
it.
college basketball started back up, too. That's fun. It's a fun time of year for sports.
I don't do basketball as much as I used to.
I just watch Western.
I don't have time for it.
It's fun.
Just have it on.
Yeah, just have it on. That was like what was flipping back and forth. We had the Monday night game and the Western game, so you don't really have to watch commercials.
Is UK good basketball?
They got a new coach. I know everybody in Kentucky's fired up.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it.
I saw somebody at the Arkansas game dressed as the Pope.
Well, there you go.
Mark Pope.
Oh, that's right.
In like a blue, UK shirt.
Is
Coach Cal's in Arkansas now.
Didn't one of the Popes get drafted, or was that a thing that happened? No, Shepherd.
That's it.
He got drafted.
Reed Shepherd got
Shepherd.
drafted in like the top 5.
Yeah, he was really high.
He was not even a starter for UK.
Shooter.
UK does that though,
Yeah.
man. Like Devin Booker was really not that good, and now all of a sudden in the NBA, he's just a
stud.
Honestly, kind of the same with Anthony Davis.
It was a down draft class.
Davis
though, I
was
think,
good
for
at
the
UK,
NBA.
but not like.
But everyone's obsessed with shooting now.
For sure.
So
Yeah, different league.
yep,
Different league for sure.
ain't like I used to be.
That's right. Not back in my day. Y'all remember, I think
Strap
about
up,
this a
play
lot.
some D.
Like,
That's
remember,
right.
we'd get together and watch the All-Star games, the All-Star NBA games.
Oh, yeah.
Those things were like slugfest.
Yeah, they were fun.
They were fun. Used to have pride in the game, damn it. What has happened to the game I love? So, anyways, there you
I
go.
hope these candidates can fix it. I hope they fix the All-Star game. That's what I really want.
That's what I need to see number 1 on the ballot is what are you doing to fix the All-Star game? Well, thank you all for tuning in. Let us know what the biggest development that you saw from Week 9 in IDP was.
Let us know who you're voting for. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. I won't delete all of those for sure. But yes, let us know what your biggest development was. Follow us over there. We got Scott Soltis on the after show. That'll be dropping when you guys hear this episode. That'll be live as well, the Week 10 preview, so go check that out. We'll have IDP bets coming to you all on Friday. The Sunday morning live stream, just all sorts of good stuff happening. TheIDPShow.com, YouTube.com/@TheIDPShow. We appreciate you all checking out this episode. But until next week, y'all enjoy the football. Take care. Don't stress too much about the election. And we'll see you next time.
It's the IDP show. Now